sure you hit the like button, because the math ain't mathin', okay? If y'all seen enough of that of my page, you know that that is Nicole Mimi from BB25. She's still right up there for one of the best cameos that I received. Definitely the best cameo I received for my page, for sure. But probably the second or third best ever. Best was one I received from Wes Bergman. And the second best was one that I got from my mom from Ruben Studdard for her birthday. But anyways, I've talked about this before, but back in the day, we used to just watch the show. We didn't know what the competitors were thinking. We couldn't ask them on Twitter, or we couldn't shoot them a DM, or we couldn't comment on their posts. Because nowadays, these people are social media influencers, a lot of them. Maybe not as much with maybe like a Challenge All-Stars or some of these shows that are bringing back older cast that is now like grown. They have families. They've been doing things outside of the shows for years, and they bring them back. But especially with these younger casts, with the people in their 20s and 30s that are coming up in this new era of reality TV. So what happens is, on most of these shows, we get the produced product where the editors decide which parts of it they show. If there's an argument, we see a little snippet of it. They could be talking to each other for an hour, 2 hours, and we see a little 5 to 10 minute clip for entertainment purposes. Or we might see choices that are made. This person backstabbed this one. This one chose for this one to go into an elimination. This one did this to that one, or this one cheated on this one, or this one did that. And now what happens is, when the show airs, the cast members either get on, let's say, a TikTok live, or they'll go on an Instagram live, or they'll just go on their Instagram page in general, and they'll just drop a bunch of information, or they'll respond to the fans, and they'll give you their side. I feel two ways about this. Hi, Tasha. I feel two ways about this. A part of me does like to get the full story. That's how I am in life, and that's how I am with these shows. I don't like a story that is one-sided. The other side of the coin is, when people tell stories about things that are unfavorable to them, a lot of times the way that they're going to tell the story is in a way that is very favorable to them. And obviously, if you're the person who is painted as the villain in the story, hi Prince, hi Evelyn, hi Ed. If you're the person who's painted as the villain in that story, obviously you want to put out your own kind of hero story, because you don't want to be made out to look like that. And you want to tell people, this is not who I am, this is not my character, blah, blah, blah. But I find that there's only so few people that you can really count on to provide those stories objectively. So what happens is, they could be sitting in a room, they have a particular argument, they don't really even remember the details, but they remember how the argument made them feel. And then they're discussing about their feelings about that argument, instead of giving the details and just letting the fans decide. And honestly, sometimes now these people build these big fan bases who aren't really concerned about the details either. They just are going to believe whatever the hero tells them. And I'll tell you something, I'll tell you the truth. None of these people are my hero. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of some of these people from the show because, yeah, I'm a fan. Even when I go to these events, even now that I've been to so many different ones, I'll still see somebody and be like, oh my God, this is this person, you know? I've always wondered what this person is like. This is cool to be able to meet them, hang out with them, take pictures. But at the same time, they're just human beings on a show. So it's possible that they could think that they're right and I could think that they're wrong. I always want a full spectrum of the details. Hi D, hi Cass. So a part of me liked the old era where it was just entertainment on my TV screen. I watch it, I'm not interacting with any of the show people, and I'm not seeing tweets because it didn't exist. I'm not seeing their Facebook rants, or I'm not listening to what they're saying on their podcast. The other thing is, there are some high school tendencies when it comes to this stuff. And what I mean by that is that when people get into these houses, there's like an in crowd, and then there's the people who don't really fit in. And what I have found is that the people who don't fit in seem to get picked on when it comes to the social media, when it comes to the podcasts. And the fans who are not there will say, oh, I've heard all these different people say this thing about this person, so it must be true. But have you ever been in high school? Do you remember what that's like? If 10 people said it, it doesn't mean it's true. Sometimes one person who doesn't like another person could talk to one of their friends and say, this is what happened. The friend doesn't feel like it's necessary to fact check because they're like, that's my friend and I believe my friend, so this is what happens. Then they go to the next person. They give their version of what the first person said to person number 3. Person number 3 now goes to this other group of people, and then now the story is circulated amongst several people, but only 2 people were involved in whatever it is. The 2 people who had the dispute, the disagreement, or the argument. A great example is the one that I've talked about a few times so far, is like this Ayana thing, where she had this big argument within the house. And there was only so many people that were there during that argument, but everybody's speaking about it. And they all took their version of whatever Janelle has told them, spread that around, and then they go on other people's podcasts, and other people, for the sake of the clickbait, are going to be like, hey, so what happened with this person and this person that were beefing on the show? They give their version based on whatever information that they had or were given, which might just be from one party and not the other. And then it just goes around and around and around and around and around. And to me, sometimes it makes it hard to follow these shows because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I just want the information to be provided in an unbiased way. And the best way to do that is just to kind of let the editors do their job. However, I do know that the editors are not always concerned with getting the thing out there that is the most truthful and the most factual thing, because let's be real, sometimes people consider the facts to be boring. Just show me the apex of that argument. Just show me the worst thing that was said once this thing started cooking and heating up. Like in one case, I remember that when I first interviewed Wes, I have 2 interviews with Wes, and in the first one, I was asking him about this viral moment of when he threw CT's bed over the balcony, and then it showed CT yelling at him, and then it showed this time clock thing where it was like as if CT literally yelled at him from the point he threw that bed up until the morning. And I was like, did he really yell at you for like 12 hours? And Wes was kind of like, it was a long time, but obviously it was not continuous. You know, they just took the best parts of it and made it entertaining. But something that he told me too was that he feels like, generally, at least for the challenge, he's like, the edits don't usually tell a lie. They just might not portray the person in their best light. But then they also might not be behaving in their best light. Because, hey, I always say this, they're on a TV show. They're competing with people for money. No matter how much they call somebody their best friend, I love this person, yada yada, we see time and time again, there's a difference between a TV show bestie and like a real life bestie. Yes, sometimes it translates and they become really close friends outside of the show, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's like, in this environment, that's where we're close. And then the other thing is the opportunity for the fans to interact with the show cast so easily and have so much access to them and ask them questions and stuff. It's not like fans interacting with somebody on a fully scripted TV show. Like somebody wrote the script and you're just an actor acting out the script. Even though some people would consider some of these TV show people actors, and I do too sometimes. Sometimes what they're doing is for the show. But regardless, it's not something where they have a script that is put in their hand and they read the script. I would say that it's like semi-scripted in a sense of some things they do on their own and some things production kind of pushes them into. But my point is, everyone always says, oh, I can separate game and personal. But we always see time and time again that when somebody betrays somebody else in the game, a lot of people take it personal and they're like, I thought this person was my friend. Then the other thing is, the cast makes money off of doing all these things in the off season, right? So they'll have these podcasts, they'll have these Patreon accounts, they'll have these Spotify accounts, and a fan will listen to a response of a cast member to whatever question that the podcaster was asking them, or their summary of what they say happened on the show in some heated moment, and the fan will take that and send it to the other cast member who was involved in it, or tag them on social media. Then all of a sudden, the fan bases are going to war, and the two people have not picked up the phone. I know most people don't care about this, but that's why my page is called Mindful Reality. I think those kind of things can be irresponsible, but yeah, those are my thoughts about how I feel that the social media game and the podcasting game and the YouTube game and all the other platforms have changed the dynamics of reality TV. But let me know, do you love it? Are you indifferent? Do you like it? Do you think that it's good but it could be better? Just drop something in the comments. And as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content.